One of the first questions is always like, well, how does faith work with reason? We have seemingly these two like juxtaposed things. So how does faith work with reason, Ken?
Yeah, I think a good definition of faith, and this definition we see in various Christian thinkers through the centuries. I think it starts out largely in St. Augustine. We see it again in Anselm. To some degree, we see it in Thomas Aquinas, and we see it in other Protestant thinkers as well. It defines faith this way, that faith, and the Greek word is pisteuo, that's to believe, the noun is pistis, to have faith, that faith is confident trust in a credible or reliable source. Now again, it's important to realize that the biblical word for faith means trust, confidence, but it's not trust in anything. It's not a blind trust. It is confident trust in a reliable or credible source. So the very definition of faith, according to historic Christianity, involves a rational component. And if you add to that, faith involves knowledge. To be a Christian, you have to have knowledge. So faith involves knowledge. Who was Jesus? What do we know about his life? What do we know about his character? How about his death, then his resurrection? So faith has a rational component. Faith involves knowledge. And of course, we can also recognize that that in the New Testament, the apostles and even Jesus himself invite people to test, to see if these things are true, to recognize them. So it's certainly the case that there have been Christians from time to time in church history that were kind of anti-intellectual. But I think generally historic Christianity has prized both faith and reason and sees them as compatible.
So I'm wondering then, like, one objection might be like, well, okay, so we can come through like maybe like reason to the conclusion that like 2 + 2 = 4, or like the quadratic formula holds, like something like that in like mathematics, or maybe like we can use reason to come to like scientific conclusions about maybe like the Big Bang or something like that. But then faith seems like it goes like beyond the reason. Like it's not like there's obviously like this airtight proof that God exists, or like Jesus rose from the dead. So we come to that through faith. So it seems like, well, yeah, there is reason, but faith and reason are like these separate things. They aren't really meant to be hand in hand. Like you can't have faith and reason in something.
Yeah, I think that's a fair critique. I would say this. I would say that Christianity has mysteries. I mean, the doctrine of the Trinity, that the one God is one in essence but three in personhood, or the incarnation, that Jesus is a single person with both a divine and human nature, or that his death on the cross was a means of atonement. All of these things are mysterious. None of these truths can be fully, exhaustively comprehended by human reason or by the human mind, but they're not irrational. For example, with the Trinity, we don't say God is one and not one, three and not three. Rather, we say the way in which God is one, his essence or being, is different from the way that he is three in his personhood or subsistence. Or the incarnation. We don't say the divinity divinizes the humanity or the humanity drags down the divinity. We say that we can present these mysterious truths in a way that is rationally consistent. And so I think the early church, when they wrote the creeds, when they decided how to communicate the Trinity, the incarnation, they prized both reason and revelation.